Kyrie, head to Boston.
Then it's LeBron versus Luka, followed by Kawhi and the Clippers against the Nuggets.
Greeny, all of the games on ESPN and ABC.
And Get Up and First Take will get your day started telling you what to watch for and what to expect.
A Hoops Christmas to remember, starting with Get Up and First Take.
This historic 2020 NBA championship belongs to the Los Angeles Lakers.
Toto, I have a feeling we're not in the bubble anymore.
He is the most scrutinized player in the NBA this year.
I'm a bad boy like I play with the Pistons.
Yeah, we gonna look right at Kyrie Irving.
The saga of James Harden and the Rockets continues.
Harden wide open for three.
When you in the clutch, you coming up missing.
Oh my goodness.
When I'm in the clutch, I coming up switching.
Davis 4-3 in the win. Oh, it's good.
Money. Joker does it again. Murray for three. Yes. Luka Magic has made everybody ooh and ah. Giannis finishes ferociously.
He did it with the left hand.
And I want my damn respect too.
What could be the NBA's most chaotic season is set to begin. All right, our NBA season preview continues today. Next up, number 3 on our list, Giannis Antetokounmpo. After winning his second MVP award last season, the Bucks suffered an early playoff exit at the hands of Miami. The Greek Freak did, however, sign the Supermax extension to stay with the Bucks long term, saying this about his future in Milwaukee yesterday.
I knew what I wanted in my head. I knew that the goal is to win a championship, and I knew that here we have a chance to win a championship. And it's a place that I want to be. It's a place that I want to raise my kids, and I feel good here. I feel that my family feels good here, so I'm good.
All right, Max, we know he got paid, largest contract in NBA history, $228 million, 5 years. What does he need to do this year, or his Bucks rather? How far do they need to go to justify this contract?
He's got to get to the conference finals, but he doesn't have to get more than that right now. And the reason is simple. How many people now have AD over Giannis? A lot of people skip AD or say, now AD is proven he's better than us. He won a championship. He can shoot, although Giannis can actually shoot okay. He's not Ben Simmons. He can shoot 30% from three, right? But like AD is the best big in the league because Giannis is also really a big. Because he won the championship? How did AD, like, now they brought in reinforcements for Giannis. Who's the main piece? Drew Holiday. AD played with Drew Holiday. He didn't get anywhere in the playoffs. I keep saying a great big needs a great non-big just as good as him if he wants to win a championship. Kareem had 6 chips, 1 with Oscar Robertson, 5 with Magic, none with anyone else. Shaq had 4 chips, 3 with Kobe, 1 with Wade, none with anyone else. Not even Penny Hardaway was good enough to get him to a championship. They got swept in the finals and swept the next year by the Bulls before they ever got to the finals. And that was a good team. Horace Grant, Dennis Scott, Nick Anderson, and Penny. Not enough. A great big needs a crime partner who's on his level, who's not a big, a ball handler. I love Drew Holiday. That's not Drew Holiday. It's not Drew Holiday plus Chris Middleton. Let's be honest about this. The reason Shaq looked at Giannis and said, that guy's the first guy since I was around that can take the name Superman, is he looks at Giannis and sees a kindred spirit, like Shaq wishes he played in an era where he was allowed to do more stuff. It just points out, and Stephen A. pointed this out before the playoffs a couple years ago. When push comes to shove, when it gets into the thick of competition in the playoffs, Giannis is going to play up, not in terms of the level, but in terms of his size. You know, he has great handles for a big. That's different than saying you got great handles. He's a great passer, period, but he can shoot it okay for a big. He's not a wing player, not really, even if he looks like one sometimes. So given what they got, the Bogdanovich deal fell through. They let Brogdon get away last year. Mirotic went to Europe last year. Given what's on the team this year, he must get to the conference finals, but you can't insist on more than that.
Well, you know what, Max Kellerman, I would take your thoughts and opinions on this specific subject more seriously if you had not been the same guy that actually, during this soliloquy you just gave, literally reminded me of how you had Giannis as the number 1 player in the world ahead of even LeBron James on a Thursday.
Can I say one thing in my defense?
You had him at 5. At 5. I don't even have a problem from 1 to 5. I got a problem with the fact that you had him number 1 on a Thursday, and 4 days later he had dropped to 5. Sure. Sure you can.
Whoops.
I knew it. That I expected. I knew it. Here's the deal. The Bucks need to go to the finals this year, but it's not because of Giannis. Ladies and gentlemen, and I don't mean to be this way because I happen to believe he's exceptional, but when we gonna start talking about Mike Budenholzer? The man has been a head coach in the NBA for 7 years. He's taken his team to the playoffs 6 of those times. 4 years in Atlanta, last 3 years in Milwaukee. He's taken his teams to the playoffs 6 of those times. He's been to a conference finals twice. Okay? So we got that. We know he can coach. He's a 2-time coach of the year. But if I got Giannis and I got Middleton and I got Drew Holiday, you know what? At some point in time, I got to look at the pieces around Giannis because Giannis ain't going anywhere. I got to look at what I got around him, and I got to say, okay, what's plausible? Where should this team go? Because I got news for you. If you don't do it this year, the likelihood is that Philly or Brooklyn is going to do it. I'm not ruling out Miami, but the likelihood is Brooklyn or Philly's going to do it. And guess what that means? That means Kevin Durant is going to be, he ain't going to get worse. He's only going to get better health-wise, assuming he stays healthy. His game is going to come completely back. That's a nightmare for Milwaukee because you can't guard KD, and you certainly ain't going to guard. You can try. Listen, Drew Holiday can guard a lot of people. He's an elite defender. But Kyrie is something special now. Let's not ignore that. And then in the case of Philadelphia, if God forbid the acquisition of Seth Curry, along with some of the other pieces they got. Shake Milton is still there. This kid Maxey out of Kentucky. He's got a lot of promise. Embiid looks in shape, et cetera, et cetera. You got rid of Al Horford and his contract. If Doc Rivers figures out a way for Philly to overcome the hump, they're not going to get worse either. So Milwaukee, to me, it's about this year. This year is of utmost importance, but it's not because of the Greek Freak, because I know what I'm going to get from him. It's what I'm going to get from others. And that has a lot to do with Mike Budenholzer.
Well, I'm glad you hopped on the boat, Stephen A., because right when the Miami Heat sent them home packing, the Bucks, like I told you they were, like we both was talking about. You remember I came on the show and I said, when is Mike Budenholzer going to get some blame for this for the Bucks having the best regular season record, dominating the regular season 2 seasons in a row, and no one is going to hold him accountable? You remember when I said that? You remember when I said that on First Take? And on top of that, I'm looking at this team, the Bucks, with Drew Holiday, with Giannis and Chris Middleton. They have a big three. They have a big three, and then you're able to slide in a guy who, in my eyes, is still a top 10 center in the league, and Brook Lopez. He still protects the basket at a high level. He can stretch the floor. He still could post up on the low block and get you a bucket. I'm looking at this starting five for the Milwaukee Bucks, and they arguably have the best starting five in the NBA. Now, when are we going to start holding Giannis accountable for his lack of productivity in the playoffs? Now, this past season, he just won the Defensive Player of the Year and the MVP. The only 2 players to do that was Michael Jordan and Hakeem Olajuwon. What did those 2 guys do? They delivered a championship. I'm not saying that Giannis has to deliver a championship this year, but he had already been to a conference finals, Max. That's out the window. Now you have to take that next level, and this season you have to get to the finals. It ain't no ifs and buts about it. Giannis and the Milwaukee Bucks have to get to the finals. He's the highest paid guy in NBA history. I don't want to hear it. In NBA history, Defensive Player of the Year, MVP. Got to show up. I don't want to see it in the regular season, Giannis. I want to see you dominate in the postseason. Actually played in your words, Max. Guys, when it matters the most. Guys, how did he play well? How did he play well in the playoffs, Max? You getting fooled? No, Max, you're getting fooled, and you're being a casual fan right now, and you're getting fooled by the numbers on the stat sheet. But when we be talking about Giannis not being able to close games,
they wall up against Giannis. They wall
He
up
gotta get
against
better.
Giannis. It's true. What that shows is what Stephen A. pointed out a couple of years ago when I was overrating Giannis, which is in the playoffs, he's not going to look like a wing to you. He doesn't. So what does that mean? He needs help. When you call Drew Holiday and Chris Middleton part of a big three, Drew Holiday and Chris Middleton, and I'm a huge Holiday fan. By the way, Stephen A., you say he wouldn't be able to guard Kyrie Irving. He guarded Damian Lillard as well as you can guard Damian Lillard. Drew Holiday is a great defensive player, and a very good offensive